Hi guys, BuildZoid here, and today we have a new memory kit. And I just realized I should have given myself... Wait, I can zoom out, can't I? Zoom out a bit. Yeah, but I don't want my foot in the shot. Anyway, yeah, we have a new memory kit. So thank you, patrons, because Patriot did not send this. I didn't really feel like trying to figure out how to contact their marketing people. That's always really not, like, I hate doing that. It just sucks when you go up to a brand and it's like, hey, can I review your product? Like, no, especially considering how I tend to be kind of mean to things. So, you know, for me, it sucks even more. Anyway, yeah, this is a big box for a memory kit, so let's get inside. It's a bit squashed, as you can see from delivery, but let's see. So the spec on this kit is it's just 2x8 and it's 3866 megahertz, but very loose timings. It's 18, 22, 22. Oh, they give us some nice stickers. Awesome. I love stickers. I'm an absolute massive sucker for stickers. I sticker bomb my test benches, so more stickers, more better. And these are some nice memory sticks. But yeah, so these are, do they not put the full timing? Oh, that kind of sucks. So some brands will put the full timings on their actual stickers, but these guys obviously didn't bother with that. But yeah, let's get these out and check out what kind of PCB layout they're on. So they are 18, 22, 22. And apparently this can be a B-die bin, which to me seems ridiculous because B-die does not, like, I can't, like, if you have... Because I have experience with, like, low-end B-die, and I know other people who have experience with low-end B-die, and the experience basically goes low-end trash bin B-die, as in unbinned, untuned, like B-die you would buy from, like, Samsung directly. That stuff, there's no amount of looser timings that'll make it do more than, like, 3600 megahertz. It basically hits 3600 megahertz, and that's it. So this being a 3866 bin, at, you know, 18, 22, 22, it doesn't make sense that this would be B-die. But this is, let's see. So yeah, it is a single-sided memory stick, as you can clearly see, or, well, can't see. Actually, wait, I'll try camera. There we go. So you can, yeah, okay, awesome. So you can see the memory chips, right, under the IHS. Oh man, this camera is so good at that. That is incredible. I mean, under the heatsink, well, heat spreader. So yeah, you can see the memory chips. So the grouping of the memory chips tells us that this is an A2 PCB layout. So this is a PCB layout that basically should favor high frequency. And it has, like, well, basically any PC, like, it actually depends on what the motherboard is tuned for. But with some motherboards, this will work better than, say, A0, which is evenly spaced. But most modern memory kits will actually be on an A2 layout because generally this is preferred these days. So, yeah, it's an A2 layout. 18, you know, there's not really much else to it. The heatsinks are actually rather light. This top part, that's plastic, but the sides are metal. Not really much in the way of extra surface area, really. So, mostly an aesthetics thing, not really like a practical cooling system. But I don't care. These were pretty cheap. So, yeah, and hopefully this will be CJR or DJR. That's kind of the memory ICs I'm hoping for, Hynix CJR or DJR, because, yeah, I don't have that in my collection. If this is B-die, I'm going to be super disappointed. Like, most people would consider getting any B-die a win, but if this is B-die, I'm going to be super disappointed, because the last thing I need is more B-die. I have, like... 96 gigabytes. Actually, no, if we include all of the... I have 128 gigs of B-die. And out of that, 16 gigs is absolutely worthless because it's trash bin level. But yeah, so I have a lot of B-die. So the last thing I want in this kit is more B-die because it's just like, I want to try something new. I want to try something different. So hopefully this is CJR. Yeah, let's go to the motherboard view. Well, capture card, I just realized I didn't set up my other microphone because this one I'm on right now is like the little lav mic, and ultimately that one doesn't sound as good as the desk mic I have. So we'll be switching over like right now actually. I'll just fire this, well, let's clear the BIOS, and once that's done, I'll fire up the system. and we'll see what we can do. And we are on a MSI X570 Godlike, so yeah, MSI sent this board over, and we're just using it because it's already set up on the test bench. And it's an X570 board, and the thing is like, I've currently not made up my mind if I like this board better than, say, my Extreme, or if I like the ITX from Gigabyte the most. Though I do think the ITX is actually just straight, well, it's not fair, because the ITX you can't test, like, 4 DIMM configurations on, but, yeah, it's like, I've not yet made up my mind which board is my favorite one for memory overclocking, because with Ryzen, like, I don't generally bother pushing past 3800, and that's really, like, high frequency is where you start seeing the, like, the differences, major differences between the boards, but the issue is, on Ryzen, high frequency doesn't give you any performance, so it's just a complete waste of time 90% of the time, and I'm just not bothered with it, because it's just like, I'll probably, well, like, yeah, it's not been a priority right now because I've just been mostly tuning settings for, like, stability or weird whatever. Like, doesn't matter. Let's fire this thing up and I'll switch mics. So hopefully I don't screw that up somehow. It shouldn't be too difficult. I just have to unplug one cable and plug in the other. And there we go. And we're on the new mic. Oh, well, on the big desk mic. So let's fire up the Godlike and see what it thinks of these memory sticks. And of course we're on a 3700X because Ryzen 3rd Gen obviously has the superior memory controller, and it's also far more relevant than, you know, like 2nd Gen or 1st Gen. So that's the other reasoning here is, of course, nobody cares anymore about what you can do on 2nd Gen and 1st Gen. So the first thing we're going to do is we're not even going to, like, go into the BIOS and load up XMP or anything. We're going to go straight to Windows, and we're going to ask Typhoon Burner of what it thinks of these memory sticks. Now, the problem with relying on Typhoon Burner to tell you what some memory sticks are is you have to actually rely on the manufacturer of the memory sticks to properly set up the SPDs, which they won't necessarily do. Okay, this is stupid. This never bloody works. So... oh, it just restarted. Great, awesome. If we could get into Windows, that would be amazing. Anyway, so yeah, the problem is you actually have to rely on the manufacturer to, like, properly configure the SPD profile, and a lot of the time they won't bother. So, like, things like they'll configure the timings in the SPD, they'll configure the JDEC settings, they'll configure the the XMP profile if that's what your memory kit has, but they won't bother with things like, say, PCB revision. Just who cares? Like 90% of people don't even know what that means, so why would you bother putting that in the SPD? So for some memory kits, you can, look at the SPD and it'll tell you it's one PCB, and if you look physically at the actual memory stick, it's completely different because the manufacturer just isn't bothered. So anyway, let's see if this works here. I have high expectations, and please don't be B-die. I really don't want another kit of B-die. Please, give me DJR, give me CJR, just some kind of Hynix. I also don't need more Rev E. I mean, good Rev E would be nice, but at 38, 66, 18, 22, 22... well, it's Hynix. It is indeed Hynix, but evidently... Typhoon Burner is having some issues with this stuff. Okay, it is Hynix though. Or at least the SPD says it's some kind of Hynix. So that's a win, but it's not... I'm probably going to have to take off the heat spreaders, and I'm not going to do that on video because that's a... okay, yeah, so we're just not going to get an answer for what this actually is. But yeah, our XMP profile is... yeah, so we actually have the 3733, isn't that? Yeah, that's 3733, 1721, 21 profile, and we also have the 1822. So that's actually cool because we have two different XMP profiles. So there is a cheaper version of this memory kit, like the Viper Steel series, which they do in the 3733, 1721, 21 bin, and I think that one's been consistently CJR for a while, but at this point it might start showing, at this point I'd expect it to sometimes be DJR just because that's the new stuff from Hynix, so... I'd assume they're probably going to phase out CJR for a lot of memory kits in the high end, because why wouldn't you just use the better IC? Because DJR should be better as far as I know. Anyway, so we do have Hynix, which is a win, because I only have one set of other Hynix memory, which is some Hynix AFR 8 gigabit, which is not great, you know, to say the least, because that 8 gigabit AFR, that's kind of its defining feature, not being very good. So we're going to fire off the XMP profile. We're going to not run it like it's 3866. So obviously it's not going to work right off the bat. So I'm going to drop it down to 3800. And we're also going to do like a nice basic... actually, we're not even going to go... We're going to have to go to profile too. But like the thing is like I'd like to run the 3866 like the 3866 profile, but the thing is most CPUs won't do 1900 FCLK fully stable. Mine won't. So it's just kind of like, yeah, this kit is, in terms of spec, this kit does not make sense for Ryzen 3rd gen, because again, you can just buy the 3733 rated memory from Patriot, and that is cheaper. And it has, you know, it has the same secondary, like it has the same, like the secondary profile I have is the primary profile for the 3733 memory kits. But the reason I went for the 3866 182222 was because if I was going to get some Hynix CJR, I was going to get the best damn Hynix CJR they could get me. And that's why I went for the highest possible speed spec, because it's like, well, at least it clocks high, right? Like that's kind of the thing, because sometimes you can find memory sets of memory where it's like the timings are okay, but then it just doesn't clock up at all, and it's just like, well, that kind of sucks. So yeah, that's kind of the logic for why I went for a, you know, not really a cost-effective memory kit. So yeah, we're gonna go for 1867 on the FCLK frequency, which we're also gonna override our North Bridge voltage, which is the SoC, which they have NB/SoC, which also, you know, just to make memory overclocking better, because we are going to push the memory around a bit. I'm going to configure the memory VRM, so we're going to go mode 2 for the load line calibration enhanced. Switching frequency, we're just going to go all the way to 800 kilohertz. Actually, let's screw it. We're on the Godlike. Run a run a megahertz, right? Why not? Especially because I'm not sure if that's 1 megahertz before or after the quadrupler that's running for the SoC VRM. If that's before the actually, it probably has to be before the quad, because unless MSI... Yeah, because like the thing, so the thing is this motherboard uses a quadrupler to convert the single SoC, like the single phase from the IR35210 that they have available for the SoC VRM. Yeah, to get 4 phases out of that they're running a quadrupler. So if you run 1000 kilohertz into a quadrupler, on the other end you actually get 4 phases running at 250 kilohertz. Which is like a quarter of that frequency. So even at 1000 kilohertz, this is just like it won't make a difference, because that is so like 250 kilohertz for the power stages that MSI is using is like half the nominal spec of the switching frequency you should run them at. So like, yeah, it's way overkill. And also they're 70 amp power, 70 amp smart power stages, which is stupid overkill for the SoC VRM at the best, like always. So you may as well just max out the switching frequency there. If you have the Godlike. If you have other boards, well, those use 60. Like, the thing is, if you look at MSI's, like, the boards that I think MSI makes that are, like, reasonable, you have the Creation, which I think is a cool board. I actually think the Creation is a much more sensible board than the Godlike, but MSI decided to send me a Godlike. I didn't ask for this. It just turned up, and it was like, oh, I have this now. Better start using it. And to be fair, I do like some things about this board, but I think for most people, something like the Creation or the Ace or the Unify that's coming soon, which I will also be getting a Unify, so if you want to see my coverage of that board, you should subscribe there. I'm doing the pro YouTuber thing of like integrating subscribe statements into my video. Anyway, so yeah, you know, it's like Ace, Unify, and the Creation, those all use 60 amp power stages in a 2-phase configuration for their SoC VRM, which is still insane overkill, so you might as well max out the switching frequency there anyway. We're going to leave the memory voltage on auto, because that's going to be taken care of by the XMP profile. And, well, you know, if you want to if you want the most out of your 3rd gen Ryzen, you should do this. This is just stuff you should do. And, well, this, like, for the 8-core, apparently for the 3600, this actually does something, but from what I've heard for the higher core count chips, it doesn't do anything, so you may as well ignore that. And then we're going to go max that out as well. Bam. So now we've got, you know, a bit more multi-core performance. We haven't really improved our single-core performance at all, but like I think quad-core and 8-core and 12-thread, well, quad-thread, 4-thread, 12-thread, 8-thread, those are all up, and 16-thread is also up in terms of performance. So, yeah, with that set up, let's save and exit and see if this posts. It should. Like, Ryzen's 3rd gen memory controller should be pretty strong. Come on. Post, damn it. There we go. Okay, so that posted. Oh. Is it because I tweaked the FCLK? It's because I tweaked the FCLK, isn't it? Yeah, because it decided to post at 2133. Okay, that is dumb. I really hope this... Okay. Come on, board. Really? Are you kidding me? That was surprising. I'm getting the feeling that this latest BIOS on this board seems to kind of suck at memory overclocking, because I don't remember having this... Like, I was messing around with some other stuff earlier today, and, well, yeah, earlier today, it was 2 in the morning, but that counts as earlier today. I was messing with some other stuff on this board as far as memory concerned, and, like, I don't remember it being, like, this board having such a hard time with some of the stuff I was doing, so... Okay, so we have a problem here, so we'll step it up slowly. Start at 3200. Right? Alright. Yeah, okay, so 3200 works. It's not really an achievement. Let's try 3466. I could try 3400, it really doesn't make a difference. Or at least it shouldn't make much of a difference, but... Because the thing is, I remember doing a bunch of testing with this board on a previous BIOS, and I was throwing, like, so many random memory settings at it, and it was just fine. So the fact that this now suddenly, like, doesn't like this. Like, yeah, everything's set the way it should be set. Strange. Okay, let's try 3600. Okay. So 3600 works. So there's a funny sort of thing with the FCLK on 3rd gen, which actually you only have FCLK on 3rd gen. If you have it desynced, it's actually slightly more stable than when it's synchronized. And I think it's mostly down to the fact that you just have less data passing over the Infinity Fabric, that it gets more stable if it's out of sync. So it's more stable because it's basically doing less work. But yeah, so that is another concern, is just maybe it doesn't like me pushing the FCLK up at the higher memory clocks. The capture card is having a seizure. And there we go. So, okay. I am now... Well, let's see. See what happens. So right now we're in what I call low performance mode, high stability, because we're dividing the memory controller clock by half. So even if we crank up the FCLK now, our performance is going to suck. But this is basically just to see if the board can get 3733 running at all. Now we're going to put UCLK equals memclk, and we're going to bring up 1867 and try again. Well, that's stupid. So we just had to freaking train into 3733. I can't freaking believe it. I mean, it might be a CJR thing, because obviously, like, this is the first time I'm working with, well, I don't know if this is CJR. This is the first time I'm working with whatever mystery Hynix chips are on this. Actually, let's validate that this is Hynix, okay? So the easy way to check if this is not B-die is, oh, it loosened all the way, but we're on profile 2. It's supposed to be, oh, right, we're Ryzen, right, Ryzen, yeah, okay. So the easy way to check that this is not B-die is we do this, 1.5, and let's go to like 3200, and we're just gonna go 14, 13, 13, 13, 28, there. If this doesn't post, it ain't B-die. And actually, I should save a profile at this point. Where's the profile button? I forgot. The thing is, the shortcuts aren't standardized across all motherboards. So F8 for load, F9 for save. Okay, save. Gonna use profile 5. And yeah, profile 5, so F10. And if this doesn't post, then it can't possibly be B-die. Or at least, if it is B-die, it's trash B-die. And yeah, it doesn't post. Yeah, it doesn't post. Good. It's not B-die. Or at least it's not good B-die. I mean, Typhoon Burner said, you know, at the very least did say Hynix. So I'm gonna go with this is Hynix something. Considering that we're hitting, you know, 37, 33 megahertz at all, it's probably not AFR, and it's definitely not MFR. So probably CJR, maybe DJR. Though, the Typhoon can't identify the ICs for whatever reason. So it might be that I have an outdated version of Typhoon Burner. Maybe it needs an update. I don't know. Anyway, we need to clear the BIOS because obviously I just put in a bunch of memory settings that aren't going to post. Oh man, if we're going to have to train it up again, that's going to suck. Like, I really hope we don't have to walk it back up through the frequencies, because the reason why that makes higher frequencies possible is because the memory controller basically gets an idea of, hey, this already works, and then when you post again, then it already has a set of starting values from the previous frequency you tried that it can work off of, and that's kind of how you can teach the memory controller to go faster, essentially. The thing is, we really shouldn't have to do that. Like, not for 3733 as far as I'm concerned. I don't know, like, it could be a Hynix thing, right? But I would assume we shouldn't have to do this. So okay, profiles work. Let's just go straight to 3733, right? Like, we shouldn't have to train. Previously it was 18, 21, 21, 41. And let's go for it. And it works. So I guess XMP just doesn't like posting. Oh well, no big deal. I mean, yeah, no big deal. Do they even, like, recommend this kit for Ryzen? I'd assume they don't. doesn't really say anything about which platform this is recommended for. Or at least if it does say on the box, then I'm blind and because I can't see it. Well, whatever. So Mystery Hynix will continue to get overclocked here. So at this point, I think we should just get a rough idea of the performance that this spits out, which I don't expect anything particularly amazing considering the timings being wizard sleeve levels of loose. So yeah, we shall see. I'm kind of hoping, like, though, what I'm really obviously interested in is how does this tighten up? And isn't this stuff at still at 1.5 volt? It's fine. I also wonder how it takes to high voltage. Like that's the other thing I'm wondering about. Oh, and it just didn't make it into Windows. So maybe it doesn't like high voltage. We're gonna bump it back down to 1.35. If this doesn't go anywhere, then yeah, we're at 1.5 still, so maybe that could actually be an issue. Again, I have no idea how this IC behaves. I've very intentionally been trying to not read too much about, you know, the new, like, the various Hynix ICs because it's just not fun when you, like, for me, memory, like, I enjoy overclocking because it's about exploring and, you know, that kind of thing. And it's not fun when you just copy somebody else's values, punch them in and go, oh, this works. Yay. It's like, I mean, at that point, like it's basically like turning on the XMP profile, right? Like it's on that level. So it might actually not like 1.5 volts. That's interesting. Very interesting. So I guess we'll bump it up to 1.6 and see if it throws a fit at that point. I don't think it would actually straight up die, but the thing is the DDR4 manufacturers, they only officially, like, the JEDEC specification literally only requires that the memory doesn't instantly die up to around 1.5 volts. That's surprisingly low latency. Really? Oh, maybe it's just because I have boost enabled. We're gonna, like, run that. Like, no, it really is spitting out 60. I should install the latest version of Ryzen Master so that I can get memory timings, but yeah, no, it's loose as hell. How is it getting... Okay, wait, memory read? Like 60, like I was expecting 70s. I'm getting 53, okay, 52. It's not bad. Because unless my memory is failing me, my Rev E has a hell of a time getting at, like, gets around 70 nanoseconds at this kind of frequency. So yeah, okay. So the performance, you know, 52 and 50 gigs, not exactly incredible, but not terrible. Actually, is it not incredible? No, it's pretty decent, actually. I guess I'm too used to, like, well, basically, I want, like, 55 gigs plus on both. Or, like, 54 gigs plus. So, yeah, actually, it's really not that far off of those. So that's actually, like, you know, ignoring the fact that the XMP doesn't immediately work, which is I'd partially blame the fact that I bought a 3866 kit on that. So, you know, it's just, like, obviously not doing the best purchasing practices here, but, you know, it's just, like, different criteria for me. So at this point, I'm not that interested in tightening up the subtimings, but actually, let's do that voltage test. Okay, let's just punch in 1.6. So the thing about voltages is, like, as I was saying earlier, JEDEC basically says up to 1.5 volts, the memory can't instantly die. That doesn't mean it has to function properly. So at 1.5 volts, it is completely reasonable and actually acceptable that the memory is utterly unstable. And there's a lot of early like, you know, X99 era memory kits where if you go above 1.3 volts, you're just not, like, it's not even going to post at 1.4, right? At one point, like, past 1.3 volts, you literally start losing overclocking headroom, and past 1.4, it stops posting. So that's kind of the thing, and it's just like, but anyway, so up to 1.5 volts, it's like, it has to at least not die immediately. Past that, it's basically, whatever happens, happens, right? Like, you should just, like, according to JDEC spec, you should never expose your memory to more than 1.5 volts. Now, it has been tested, well, kind of not, you know, intensively and super intentionally, but it's been confirmed that at least for like Samsung VDI, you can run crazy high voltages for ages and ages and ages. Really doesn't cause any issues. I would still stick to the 1.5 volts guideline just because you don't really, like, the thing is, you don't really gain that much going past 1.5 volts most of the time anyway, but yeah, and for a lot of ICs, it's like my personal way of looking at it is if the IC scales up to like 1.8 volts, then we're cool running it at 1.5. Because usually by the time, like once you see, with a lot of things like CPUs, if you're increasing the voltage and the stability starts getting worse, it's telling you something is internally overheating to like the extreme. So that's when you know, like, okay, we actually have like reliability level concerns due to performance degradation. So anyway, let's bump that up and see if it stops posting or gets unstable. One of the two. Well, it still posts, so does it make it into Windows? Oh, actually, oh no. No, it does make it into Windows. Okay, so I guess the 1.5 volts was just maybe just failed training slightly or something. Anyway, we're going to back it off back down to 1.5 volts because I'm not really that interested in blowing up the memory kit right now because we haven't even tightened any timings. Right? Like, we could go all the way. Actually, I fully intend to eventually take it all the way up to wherever it stops scaling, which I would assume, well, it'd be really cool if it scaled linearly all the way to 2 volts, because that would be just absolutely insane, because, I don't know, maybe it would do insane frequency at super tight timings or something. Or not even super tight timings, just, like, the thing is, if your frequency is high enough, the timings are a function of the clock, like the memory clock. So, if you just have enough clock speed, you can offset the loose timings, and get actually more performance. So, it's kind of the thing. It's just like, I'm not sure that that's going to actually happen, so actually, we'll back off to like 1.45 volts. Yeah, 1.45, and start tightening up. So, let's see, 16, 20, 20, 20, 40. No, all of the subtimings are actually really normal, so I don't know why it was performing so well. And also, let's put this into expert mode, so that I actually get all of the lovely settings available. I wonder if it may be... Oh, I see why it's actually doing so well. Yeah, these default to 5. So on some other memory kits, these will actually default to like 7. And that does cost you quite a bit of performance. So that is interesting that these default lower than that. Anyway, let's see if we can drop the primaries a bit. I can't wait to pull the heat spreaders on one of these. Because now I'm really, like, I really want to know what IC is on here. I guess we could do a high frequency test as well. Okay, so 16, 20, 20. So let's see where the TRCD wall is. F9, let's just save right over 5, yes. So basically, the thing that defines most other, well, really, the easiest identifier for most memory ICs on DDR4 is, like, where does the TRCD stop? At what frequencies? So, like, BDI is great because the TRCD just goes... Like, the funny thing with BDI is TRCD can often actually run below your TCL, which is just... Like, it's kind of an anomaly. Like, there's really not that many ICs. Even, like, I think there's maybe 1 or 2 on DDR3 that do that. But yeah, as far as DDR4 goes, B-die, and I think there's some microns which do it at like super low frequencies where you can run like 11.99 or something, but you can't run, but those don't do high frequency. So yeah, it's just like low TRCD is just like basically a B-die thing, and everything else does high TRCD. So let's see if we can run 18s. Because if this, like, 3733 18 TRCD, that would actually straight up just beat my Micron Revision E sticks. And it's training. Oh, nope, it failed. Power on. So I just cleared the CMOS, because obviously it failed. And the board does have an auto recovery feature, but it takes a while to trigger, so I'm just going to skip all of that. So it does wall at 19, so that's cool. So that's basically like Rev E. So I wonder if we can do TCL14 though. F1. I always forget on MSI boards which button it is. Anyway, F7. Nope. F8. Load that profile. Yeah. Wait, are you... Oh, come on! Damn, I hate when the board does this. So this is a thing that happens with, like, that I've had happen with MSI motherboards since X470, where it'll just randomly decide that the BIOS profile was saved on the wrong freaking version. And evidently, so the funny thing, yeah, so evidently that has not yet been fixed. Yeah, well, at least now I have video proof for MSI that it's actually a problem. Because previously, I mentioned it to them, like, yeah, sometimes my profiles don't work, and now it's like, here, at minute 36 in the video, profile doesn't bloody work, even though I made it in the same video. So, yeah, there we go. So, man, that's actually really annoying. Like, that is so... Why you know we're... Wait. Do any of the other ones? Yeah, the other ones work. Not profile 5. Okay, well, I think I just loaded up some, like, crazy B-die profile, so... Yeah, well, no. This is the mishmash memory ICs. Okay, no. We don't want to run that. Settings. Save and exit. Restore defaults. Okay, so like this, I'm already not very pleased with the board. So hopefully that gets fixed though, because that is super annoying as far as I'm concerned. Like not having working profiles is just, especially because the board doesn't even have safe boot, right? Like that's the main thing, is like there's no safe boot button. So it's just like it's profiles or redoing all your work every single time that something fails. And man, and this, especially on this board, like there's so many settings. I will leave. I'm just gonna leave the VRM settings on auto this time. I don't think they actually like. They might make a slight difference, but not enough of a difference for me to care right now. So we'll leave that alone. But we do need to max out all the boost settings again. So that's that. We do need to we do need to override the SoC voltage and set this, because that's for stability, and set that. So let's just go straight to 1.5, because I do want to see if we can do CL14. DRAM configuration 14, 19, 19, 19, 39. Let's go for that. Actually, let's go for 38. Nah, 35. 35 is better. So basically what I'm just doing is 14 plus 19 plus 2. There's a bit of a range on TRAS in terms of what will actually work. And if you set it wrong, you lose a bunch of performance. But I've not yet figured out, like, I've been messing around with TRAS a little bit recently, because... Okay, I've made up my mind. I do prefer the extreme. Actually, no. I punched in CL18, so... I can't really blame the board for this. It might actually be just the cast latency being too low, so... Yeah. Now, if I had punched in 16 and it was doing this, then I would have a good reason to say I do prefer the extreme. Well, this is going to be a terrible adventure. Okay, you know what? We're not going to do a performance test. We're just going to crank up timings until it stops posting, and then that's when I'm going to do a performance test. Yeah, so it can recover, but it's just like how quickly, like for certain memory errors, like if it just straight up pukes up an F9, then you're gold, because it'll just F9 3 times in a row, and then it'll give you the memory fail. But if it goes to like literally any other later error, yeah, you're like, it's probably not going to manage to recover. So yeah, that's sort of annoying. Wait, it's dropping the TRC way... Oh no, that's because it was a 2133. Okay, now it's draining again. Cool, so 16. So evidently 14's not possible. That sucks, considering that we're at 1.5 volts. It's a real shame. I wonder if it would do 14 at 3600. But it wouldn't actually, like, performance-wise, I think we're going to win at 3733. So, okay, next, TRCs. TRC is likely to wall somewhere, so let's start at 70, and then we're going to drop in increments of 10. So 70 I expect to just work because it's really high. And TRC basically bottoms out at TRP plus TRAS. So we're at 1937, so it should bottom out at like 56? Yeah, 56 if I can do math in my head. Which I'm actually bad at. And you really shouldn't do in videos for that reason. So anyway, let's try save a actually no, because I'm 99% certain that any profile I save on profile 5 is going to give me that same bug. So we have to save onto profile 4, because I really don't want to deal with, like, if it doesn't F9, then this is going to suck. Let's go to 60. Yeah, see, that's not an F9. So let's see if the motherboard can recover from that. I'm going to hit the reset button instead of the clear CMOS. But this is basically, so 60 is actually really, like, quite high. I was kind of hoping it would go lower. V2. Oh. Did it recover? No, it trained. Wait, what? Yeah, it trained. Oh boy. So I don't know how stable that is. Okay, let's try 56. Alright, so if 60 was sketchy, 56, like, if 60 was not super stable, then 56 should absolutely not work. And yet, it posts. Okay. So I'm already... So TRC actually makes a pretty big difference in terms of performance. And we can push it, actually... Like, this is lower than what my Rev E will do. Now, maybe I just got unlucky with my Rev E. And this is admittedly, like, a pretty, like... If this is CJR 3866, I think is the highest bin you could get of it. So... At least... Well, let's see. Let's see if we can do 17 on TRP. And 54. But, so this might actually be like a pretty, you know, it's not really fair because my Rev E is all just 3000 CL15 kits. Whereas this is a 3866. So, okay, now we're on V0. So let's see if it can recover from that. I don't think it'll recover. Yeah, see, this is the thing. If it if it does an F9, then you're fine. But if it starts doing this right here, I think it should be 3 attempts to post before it coughs up the recovery error. Okay, that's not a real post. Like, I don't know what that postcode means. I don't really care because it's just stopping on different ones at random. So that doesn't really mean. Yeah, okay. I'm glad I saved that profile. Yeah, at this point, I think this is going to just straight up be faster than my Rev E. Just because right off the, it does lower TRC. And if all of the other timings are even remotely similar, then I expect it to just win. Not necessarily by a huge amount, but yeah, it's not going to recover. But yeah, so I expect this to beat my Rev E. I still don't know if it's CJR or not, which is great. So, yeah. This is the thing is when you have a new IC, and even better when you don't know what the IC is just like, you just gotta test everything. So it takes forever. And sometimes, well, there are certain motherboards which make testing all of the settings far, far easier than other motherboards. And I actually think this board at the very least posts faster than the Extreme. So on a clear CMOS, it's not quite as long before it starts being functional again. So that's a win. But yeah, I don't think this is exactly the optimal platform for testing out memory. Okay, so this profile loads. Good. So this profile still works. It hasn't broken this one yet. Let's do 18. Let's try 18. Oh, what? Okay, 30. Yeah, let's try that. Let's try 54 again, because I'm wondering if it's like a TRC limit or if it's a TRP limit. And dropping your TRC below your TRP and TRAS, can't remember if it causes no post or if it just doesn't lead to performance gains. I can't remember which one of those two it does. Okay, so it doesn't seem to want to do 54 at all. Cool. I wish this board had safe boot. It would be even cooler if you could adjust the settings of the motherboard's BIOS without turning the motherboard on. Could you imagine that? That would be, amazing. You could change so many memory settings, right, at the same time, see what postcode it gets stuck on, immediately just shut down, change the settings, try again, right? That would, I think, be, I don't know how you did, well... The thing is, it's the main reason why you wouldn't actually implement that on a motherboard is you'd obviously need a second computer to make use of it. Unless you had no, controlling the BIOS through your phone would be stupid. Can you imagine that? Using a touch screen to adjust numerical value. Actually, maybe, no, that could work as long as it was all numbers. Right? I don't like typing on phones, mostly because my hands are huge. So, yeah, phones are too small. Profile hasn't broken yet. That's a nice thing. I guess we're stuck at 56 for that. That's cool. Let's try 600. So next we're going to try tighten up the TRFC. But yeah, being able to tweak BIOS settings without actually turning the motherboard on at all would be freaking awesome. Why are you stuck on 07? See, because in a situation like this, right now, I would assume it's probably me setting the TRC too low, and I could change the TRC without having to wait for the bloody board to post right now. It would be a totally reasonable feature to have on like $500+ motherboards, I think. Because like the boards are $500 plus. Like at that point, it doesn't matter how much something costs to implement, right? Like the board is so expensive. That's something silly like, oh yeah, you can control the BIOS from your phone without turning on the motherboard. That'd be perfect. Like honestly, that's actually a feature where it's like paying extra $100. I'd be totally down with. Okay, let's go to 60 and try 600 TRFC again. I wonder if this stuff might not have like an insane TRFC wall though. Like that would really suck, because that would just negate all of the TRC gains. Okay, so evidently trying to push the TRC to its absolute limit. Are you kidding me? Does it really not go below... What? Okay, I wonder if that, like, wait, 50 was a training issue once before, right? Yeah, I think 50 was a training issue. And well, now it's 05, so that's no better. Oh, 07. Okay, yeah, you're not posting. I get it. I get it. Where's the bloody clear CMOS button? There it is. I really wish the clear CMOS wasn't on the rear I/O. I mean, to be fair, that's like, if you're only going to have one clear CMOS button, that is the correct location for it. But in my opinion, you should really have two of them. And one of them should be on, like, by the postcode, right? But, yeah. Instead, we get a silly OLED screen there. Alright, I don't need to mash the delete key because it's going to give me the clear CMOS error message. So this memory overclocking session is going nowhere. That TRFC is awful, though. Like, if it can't do 600 at 3733, that is, like... That is bad. That is really bad. So, let's see. Yeah, 70. So, can you do 640? And actually, let's go 60 on that. I was kind of hoping for something in, like, you know, not necessarily B-die territory where you're pushing 300 or lower, but like, I don't know, 500-ish, 400-ish, something like that. Oh boy, the capture card. Capture card, well, it recovered. So, yeah, 640, okay. 620. Man, if that's a TR, if it walls at 620, then like, I mean, to be fair, I think my Micron Rev E does the same thing, but that sucks. That really sucks. Oh no, it did make it. Okay. So at this point, so 56 was actually probably stable, and it was just me setting the TRFC too low, but freaking 620, like that's loose. That's like really freaking loose. And now now it does 07 again. Okay. I'm liking this IC less and less. Yeah, okay, 07 again. So clear CMOS. Where are you? Come here. Okay, so far I'd consider this a fail. I wonder if this is a DJR. Because from, like, as much as I was trying to avoid, you know, reading about CJR, It's not like I haven't heard about it and haven't seen some screenshots of timings for it. So it's like, as far as I know, CJR should do like sub 600. So this probably isn't CJR. In which case, well, I mean, well, you know, I guess I need to buy more RAM, basically, so that I get that I finally get a CJR kit. But yeah, okay. So let's try 58 with 630. I'm gonna try TWR of 16, and we're gonna go 4, 6, and TFall. Let's start with so you know what? I'm gonna start at 8.8 and a TFall of 16, because the thing is, we can just tighten down the TRRDs and the TFall. Like the TFall acts as an extension timing for the TRRD. So if your TRRD is like, if you have a TFall of 30 and your TRRDs add up to less than 30, which basically it'll be like TRRD times 4 is less than 30, then it'll just extend, like it'll just add plus whatever like it'll just add the difference. So let's try TCWL14 and TCKO1. And at this point, we're just whacking in timings that it's like, I know this should work. Actually, let's disable this. Proc ODT. So Ryzen 3rd Gen has been strange in that it seems to really like low termination resistances on the CPU for me. At least my chip, and with this board, and actually even the Extreme, it was like I was running some really low ODTs. Now we will find out if I've just completely missed the mark on the timings or not. Looks good. And we're in. So let's go to the bottom. There's actually nothing down there that I really want to play with. This is, okay, yeah, it's just doing 514 as usual, so let's try 6.6. And then we do 4.6, and then we do 4.4. 4.4 is the limit. You can't set it below 4.4. Well, you can't get more performance than 4.4.16. If you run 4.4.24, then it should actually perform kind of similar to like 6.6. So that's kind of the thing. It just doesn't really make sense. Like, I don't really use the TFAW timing at all. It's just like I set it to 16 and then I push the TRRDs down as low as they go. So let's try 4.6. Okay, that still works. Let's try 4.4. Now, obviously, you know, I'm not stability testing, and in fact, if, well, like, the thing is, I'd basically punch in a bunch of settings, run some M-test, and I'd start tweaking timing upward. Because the thing is, if you validate that something is stable, you don't know how close you are to the actual edge. Once you're past the edge, well, you know you're past the edge because it's crashing, right? Like, you're getting errors. And it's easier to, in my opinion, like, you know, it's easier to, like it's easier to, you know, head back towards stability rather than trying to guess where it'll stop being stable. And also, it doesn't like 6. I mean, doesn't like 4.4. So, B-die likes 4.4. But B-die is B-die, and well, actually, yeah, it doesn't like 4.4. But B-die is the, like, there's a very good chance that B-die will be the best DDR4 IC ever made. And that there will never be another IC that's like straight up always faster. There might be something that like situationally can just outclock B-die, or, you know, like there's certain scenarios where it's like, oh, it's better. But At least, well, the thing is, you can actually clock B-die to like 4800 megahertz, 5 gigahertz, 5 plus gigahertz. It's not until very recently that there's been like other ICs getting frequency records. I really wonder what this stuff is, though. Load 4, okay. That's so strange how, like, Profile 5 broke, though. Okay, advance. Oh, man. Okay, so this profile is a little bit sparse on the settings. Okay, let's try 50. Wait, no. 58. 630. 16. 4, 6, 16. So there's a good chance that I'd actually have to loosen out the TFAW a bit. If you set the TFAW all the way back up to 24, then you can actually just run 6.6 because it'll just extend like, it'll just add a timing extension to the end of your 4 activate commands anyway, so, why bother? RTP, we're going to leave RTP alone for now. And this defaults these to 5, so let's see if they'll run 4, those two. We'll leave the rest of them to the motherboard's choosing. So let's see, F10, exit. I wonder if we can run without gear down. Oh no. Well, 4.6 is supposed to work. I'm pretty sure I didn't change any settings. Like that, the video is an hour, and I've still not shown you any overclocked performance out of this memory kit, but that's RAM overclocking for you. If you don't have the time for this kind of thing, just like that's the thing is like you can actually well actually no, that's not like the funny thing is because of the limitations of the XMP profile, you can't actually go out and buy memory kits that will set all of their subtimings for themselves. So you basically, like, even if you buy, like, a crazy expensive, you know, high bin set of B-die, it's really not going to be that fast because the subtimings are going to be basically the same as any other 8 gigabit IC. Because it's, like, the subtimings are basically, like, is the IC 8 gigabit? If it is 8 gigabit, this is the JEDEC standard for that IC. And this is the kind of timing you should be seeing. And that's just what all the boards will default to. And yeah, the XMP profiles can't really do anything about that, unfortunately. So, that sucks. But, yeah, okay. We're just going to go, okay, so we're going to go 60. Actually, no, I still want my 58 TRC. Because, 630. And 16. This might actually go lower than that. Let's try 412. TWT. I want to try 412 there. And then I want to try 4, 6, 16, 12 there. Nope. I didn't want to go down there. I don't know what that is. A? Yay. Okay. Clock ODT. Set to 48. Actually, this... Well, no, like, we're just going to throw some timings at it. I'm not going to look into gear down mode right now, because that's just going to take forever again. 14. And I guess TC, like, the SCL timings don't go below 5, since previous, like, it didn't boot last time, so, yeah. Let's try 57. Please work. Like, I want to actually get an IDA pass in this time, because the video is an hour, and I don't really like doing more than an hour. Also, if you're wondering, like, what the point of videos like this one here is, it's basically to give you an idea of the memory overclocking process, not necessarily actually give you any settings that'll work. So that's why we're kind of going with a bunch of a set of timings that I'm pretty sure that this ain't stable. And we just didn't make it into Windows, so guess that's proof enough, isn't it? Okay, let's see if maybe taking back the voltage doesn't gain stability. Because just because it won't stop posting doesn't mean it doesn't get unstable. Okay, now that made things worse. I'm an idiot. We should have raised the voltage. I actually want to, like, at this point, we're just going to whack in a bunch of timings and go for an IDA pass, because I do actually want to see how it performs with slightly optimized timings. Because I'm also interested in it, though I think I'm going to spend a lot of hours with this memory kit, which is true for most memory kits I get, like, because, you know, well, like, with, say, the B-die kits, it's just a case of, oh, I'll try it on this motherboard, and this motherboard, and this motherboard, and this motherboard, and, you know, and it's like, I'll try it on, well, it's like, I'll try it on these Z390 boards, and then also X299, and yeah, and that's how I spend way too much time just, like, testing memory. And I'm still not good at RAM overclocking, if you ask me. I mean, there's not really... I'd also argue there's not really that much room for improvement. It's mostly just, like, dial in, like, learn the timings, that kind of thing. So I think, actually, I pushed the TWR, didn't I? Actually, I changed so many things at the same time that I don't know why I expected it to work. So, you know, idiot me gets what he deserves. Still want to try 412 for those two. I'd hope that would work. Okay, maybe let's try 512. Because it normally goes to 514, so, you know, 512 is a smaller difference than 412. We'll actually leave everything else on auto, because I don't think me messing around with the proc ODT was actually making much of a difference. There are scenarios where if, like, your proc ODT is wrong, it just won't post outright, but it's not like we were running into post issues and then me changing the proc ODT suddenly made it post, so... yeah. Oh, it's going to give us the startup repair, isn't it? Oh no, it's going to fail to get into Windows again. Man, this stuff has to be unstable. I kind of just want to throw... Oh man, now it's not training again. Is it hot or something? No, it's cool. Memory's cool. Maybe the heatsinks aren't making very good contact. That's another option. Maybe the heatsinks are actually great thermal insulators. Which is the worst option. Which crazy. Yeah, the outer surface is cold, but the inside is hot. Let's see if we can make, like... Come on, Windows. Oh. Strange. Okay, the capture card's doing capture card things. Okay, IDA. Please don't tell me that the date reset. Okay, it didn't. Good. $65? 66. Oh, I was off by a nanosecond. Let's just rerun it because the test does tend to go up and down by like 0.5 of a nanosecond. I was kind of hoping for 65. Then I guess, you know, with 630 TRFC, I mean, what can you expect? Okay, so no, it just went down to 66. Anyway, let's check out the read and the copy speeds. 53.5. Oh, nailed that one. Almost. It's 53.3, so close enough as far as I'm concerned. Like 53.3 is closer to 53.5 than 53, so. Let's try copy. There's no point testing write because we're on a 3700X, so obviously the write test is literally just bottlenecked by the fact that I have one CCD instead of two. So there's no point running that one. And copy, we get 51 gigs. So that honestly kind of sucks. Like, yeah, I had much higher expectations. I'm gonna see if just gonna rerun Typhoon Burner. I don't think it'll change anything. Like, it shouldn't, but I'm really annoyed that it's a question mark because I really want to know what this IC is. I think I'm gonna heat gun these right after stopping the recording. Also, like, the performance here right now is definitely like not maxed out. Yeah, so we're on question mark FR. So mystery FR for now. Sounds too close to MFR, so no. I don't like that name. So, yeah, anyway, that is unfortunately it for this video because we are at an hour and 10 minutes. And, I mean, you know, I expect to go on for several more hours with these. Also, I plan to pull the heat spreaders, like, right now, actually, like, right after stopping the recording. So, actually, by the time you're watching this video, you should check the description and the comment section because I'll actually mention what was under the heat spreaders in the description and as a comment as well. So yeah, that's kind of that. Anyway, hopefully this video was somewhat useful and entertaining, maybe educational. Well, educational. There's no real practical use for manually tuning your memory timings. So that you can't really call it educational in my opinion. But yeah, hopefully you found this somewhat useful. Thanks for watching. You know, like, tuning memory timings is kind of like the equivalent of tweaking stats on a character in a video game, in my opinion. Like, it's fun to do, but nobody cares. Like, in the real world, nobody actually cares. Anyway, so yeah, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, leave any comments, questions, suggestions down in the comment section below. Thank you to the patrons for, you know, funding the memory kit as well as the 3700X. Thank you to MSI for providing the motherboard. I apologize for being mean to it. But nah, it deserves it. Until the profile thing gets fixed, it deserves it as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, so that's all the relevant groups thanked to. So yeah, if you'd like to support me directly, there of course is the Patreon. And if you don't like Patreon, then I do have a Teespring where you can pick up AHOC merch like stickers, posters, shirts. Though most people buy shirts, so I don't know why I venture them like third in the order. And what else is there? There's socks. I think there's like one hoodie, and I don't think anybody's bought that hoodie yet. So I'm not saying that like I'm trying to push it. Like, I totally understand why. Teespring's hoodie prices are insane. So yeah, I get it. Also, it's not even like a zipper hoodie, which is like the main reason I wouldn't have bought it. So, yeah. Anyway, that's it for the video. So, yeah, if you'd like to, you know, buy AHOC merch, primarily shirts, Teespring. There's a link to that down in the description below. And that's it. I'm grabbing the wrong mouse, as usual, because one system is recording the system getting overclocked. So, naturally, I grabbed the wrong mouse. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.